Traffic violence is a national crisis. Secretary Pete Buttigieg has acknowledged that we have a crisis on our roadways that can be prevented. For me, it's 8.5 years since I lost my 12-year-old son. And this should never happen to anyone, so we banded together to push back and fight for safe streets. Families for Safe Streets is comprised of individuals like me who have all lost a loved one or suffered a serious injury in a crash. And our mission is to confront the preventable epidemic of traffic violence. And we chose those words very intentionally because there is so much complacency around this crisis. Our first fight over 8 years ago was to get permission from the state legislature so that the city of New York could lower its speed limit. And people told us it would take 10 years to change a state law. And in one legislative session, in 4 months after announcing ourselves as Families for Safe Streets, we passed that law allowing New York City to lower its speed limit. If you are having trouble making change in your community, consider elevating the voices of those personally impacted and giving a face to the crisis. Whether you walk, bike, drive, regardless of where you're going or how you are getting there, everyone deserves to get to their destination safely.
We have an epidemic on our hand, and it's something that we know exactly what we need to do. We know how to prevent it. All we need to do is ensure that there's proper funding to support the efforts using evidence-based strategies to stop the #1 killer of young people in America, reckless and distracted driving. Impact Teen Drivers was founded in 2007 to address the devastating impact of teen traffic fatalities and serious injuries on first responders, educators, health professionals, family, friends, and entire communities. Our mission is to develop, promote, and facilitate evidence-based education and strategies to save lives and reduce injuries and fatalities caused by reckless and distracted driving. We disseminate evidence-based educational materials that engage, educate, and empower individuals to make better choices behind the wheel, whether as a driver or as a passenger. Impact Teen Drivers is committed to realizing our vision to create a widespread culture shift among teens and their influencers, where reckless and distracted driving are recognized as unacceptable behaviors and outside of the social norm, not just for the current generation, but for all future generations of roadway users. And so we need to always educate about the importance of having safe riding and driving behaviors and how that ultimately leads to safer roadways, safer walkways, bikes, pedestrians, all of us.
MAD is a nonprofit organization that was founded in 1980 by a group of volunteers, specifically one mother who had lost her daughter to a drunk driver. We are concerned with the current state of traffic safety and impaired driving. We know that drunk driving deaths have been reduced by more than half since MAD's founding in 1980, but we're going the wrong direction, and we truly need to right this ship and get us going back to zero. The MAD War Room was something we put together after we started on this fight to get the Ride and Halt Acts passed in Congress. It was weekly Zoom calls that started just to give us an opportunity to talk to each other and connect, but it grew to include victims and volunteers from across the country to strategize and talk about meetings that they were having with members of Congress and to really come together as a community and talk about what we were doing to make this happen. The HALT Act will put drunk driving prevention technology in all new vehicles. If there was one thing I would want people to know about drunk driving, it would be that it's preventable, that it didn't have to happen. It never has to happen. I know that no matter what laws we pass, no matter what technology is out there, no matter how much we kick and scream, there will always be people who want to make this decision, and it is a decision, it's a choice. And so for that reason, we do advocate for people taking responsibility for their actions and understanding that their choices have consequences, and oftentimes those consequences are for other innocent people.